Ja, think. Ja, think. How many of you guys remember a character from Star Wars? There was a character named Ja Binks. And Ja Binks was a pretty annoying character. He didn't appear to be very bright in terms of his how he came across. Um, Now, I say Ja think, not Ja Bink, but Ja think, because Ja Morant is not making intelligent decisions. Not saying he's a dummy. No way. He's a dummy in terms of being a. He's made it this far. He's done some things to. You have to make decisions to be great. You have to make decisions to be one of the top 30 players in the world. You have to make decisions to be great. It doesn't just happen. In life, if you make choices, you decide if you want to be great or not. But what can get in the way of greatness is when you don't think. Ja Morant, and I use the comparison for Ja Binks just because it just doesn't appear that he's thinking about the sacrifices and the commitments that people who have come before him who have paved the way. And right now, a video came out with Ja Morant, as you guys may be familiar with, another video with him having a gun and being shown the gun. One of his friends, I'm going to put air quotes, shows him on video with a gun, which he's now claiming to be a toy gun. Fake. Well, here's the problem. This took several weeks for them to concoct a story, which to me is beyond ridiculous. And it doesn't necessarily make it better. I want to play you a video. This is courtesy of Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless on Undisputed. And obviously, this is Sports Bucks with Steve. I'm the wealth coach, Steve, the retirement wealth coach. I help my clients and folks that are interested, coach them up to make the right financial decisions. I allow them to help them think about and prepare for what they want to ultimately have later on in life. And in some cases, securing it at that time and making sure that they can have a retirement that gives them a peace of mind and doesn't leave their money behind. Well, Ja Morant, I want to play this video. Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless were kind of conversing about this. And I thought it was interesting because what Shannon was saying, and maybe I'm seeing if this is the right one or not, I have to look at it. But Shannon is kind of going off about Ja Morant, and I agree with him. So check this video out.
Again, Skip, you see? Here we are again. Ja Morant refuses to accept accountability and responsibility for his actions. Again, it's somebody else. Somebody from the back seat passed up a toy gun. What grown-ass man you know play with toy guns and listen to NBA Youngboy and listen to that kind of gangster rap with a toy gun? The last person I know played with a toy gun, it didn't end well for him. That was Tamir Rice. He was a 12-year-old.
Thank you.
So now Ja want to play with a 12 gun. Yeah. Instead of saying, you know, if that was your argument, use that the day after it happened.
Use it the day after that.
Man, that was a toy. Man, that was a prop. Man, you know, best rob no toy gun. So did you go in Adam Silver's office when this happened, using shotgun Willis, and say that was a toy gun? Again, Ja, just accept responsibility. Commissioner, I was wrong. I know I was just in your office 2 months ago, and I told you I wouldn't let that happen again. Yeah, I was wrong, Commissioner. I come at you. I'm at your mercy. Whatever you decide, I'm willing to accept because I'm willing to show you that I've learned my lesson this time around. Again, he will not accept responsibility for what he did. He will not own up to the accountability that should be bestowed upon him. It was a toy gun now, Skip. Really? Really, John's camp? This is what y'all want us to believe. That was a toy gun. So if it was a toy gun, why did that guy, he had that, whoa, you better get that up. So why did he do it so quick if that was a toy gun?
Good point.
Nobody believes that. All you got to do, Ja, you made a mistake. You made another mistake. Okay, it happened. And I wish it wouldn't happen. But you've got to accept responsibility for this stuff and stop trying to pass the buck. Somebody in the back seat, why they passing you a toy? So you mean to tell me that you're going to fool around with a toy gun and somebody might think that thing real and let one off on you? For real, Ja? Is that what you want people to believe?
Yeah.
Ja, Cam, come on. Y'all better than this. Just accept the responsibility. Have Ja, you come out there with that half-hearted apology that seemed like it was written by one of this AI services. Come, Skip, I just can't. See, and people say, well, Shannon, man, you just being hard on Ja because Ja won't accept responsibility.
Yeah.
That's Skip, a part of an apology is accepting responsibility for the wrong that you've done.
Yeah.
People at home, this got nothing to do with the Second Amendment. Okay, you got the Second Amendment. If you're not a federal officer, take your ass to a government building with a firearm and say, I got the Second Amendment, and see what they do. Go to the federal courthouse, go to a government building with your firearm on you, and you're not an official, and see what happens to you. And use that Second Amendment bulljive. The NBA is a private entity. They say no guns on the premise and blah, 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 so forth and so on. But Skip, I just can't get it, Skip. I just don't know what else we can do. I just wish I could just sit down and talk to him, and I would tell him, Ja, just accept the responsibility.
Yeah.
Accept the punishment that's coming your way.
Yeah.
You know, Shannon was very passionate about, you know, the what took place in that video and a bad excuse from his camp. I don't know who his PR people are. All of them should be fired, in my opinion. They should all be fired. Ja, think about your career. Think about your future. Think about the millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, that he could generate over his career. Let's look at LeBron James, for example. LeBron James, who you guys watch the show, you know I'm not always the biggest fan of LeBron James. I do not believe, and I think the evidence is there, that he's not the greatest player of all time, but he is a top 5, top 6 great player of all time, in my opinion. But he's done some great things in life. You never hear about LeBron getting in trouble. He's brought his boys up, Maverick Carter, and the rest have done extremely well. Working with LeBron, Rich Porter, these guys have done extremely well, and they've made a great name and account for themselves in the world of business. That's the crew Ja should be aspiring. Sit down with one of the greatest players of all time and ask him how he's done it. He's a billionaire now. Talk to a guy like LeBron James. Ask his counsel. Seek wise counsel. And empower your friends that are trying to do something with their lives or get better friends. So some would argue and say, well, Shannon has had his issues or his beef with the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant. And I'm saying, you know what? That was a time, that was an issue. But two things can be true. I could have an issue or have had an issue with you, but still say, I like this person moving forward. Two things can be true. I could also have had an issue with you and still be able to give an objective opinion regarding what I see and going on. This is one of the things that it's a flag on the play for me, where there's so many people that believe that if you didn't play a sport, or if you didn't make it in professional, or if you make a comment about someone, that for some reason your comment is not valid, as if they know you. I bring this up because there was an interesting story and I'm comparing this to Shannon and Shannon's situation with Ja Morant. No, Shannon did not play professional basketball, but he's a Hall of Fame NFL football player. But can he speak about the life choices and the lifestyle that Ja Morant has chosen for himself? He's a 54-year-old man who has made millions of dollars himself, is in the Hall of Fame. You got to get to that level, Ja. You got to hope that you can make it to 54. But with your life choices, whether it's a real gun or a fake gun, you're going to run into the real one. who's not going to be playing with you. So, Ja, think, bro. Think about what you're doing. Think about your career. Think about what you mean to your family and those you care about. Your beautiful daughter. Think, Ja. Ja, think. So I say this because I made this comparison. I started to talk about it, but I had a debate or conversation with an internet person, someone on the internet who is, and I talked about a troll. And I made a statement about the great LeBron James. Put respect on his name, the great LeBron James. And I made the statement about this myth that LeBron drugged this horrible Cleveland Cavaliers team to the NBA Finals. And the reality is that's actually not true. And I stated the standings that year in 2000, whatever year it was, 7 or whatever it was, where they went to the NBA Finals. And I stated facts. The Cleveland Cavaliers that year were a 50-win basketball team. They were 50-32. Now you can say LeBron was a great part of that. He was he was the main reason why. Of course, he's a top 5 player of all time. So, but Cleveland that year was the second seed. They had the second best record in the Eastern Conference. Detroit won only 53 games. That was the number 1 seed. Now keep in mind, this was a Detroit Pistons team that did not have Ben Wallace in those playoffs. I'm not sure if he was on the team that you have to go back and look at it. So I stated that this myth, and Boobie Gibson in game 6 scored 30 plus points in that game. It was 30 points, but he shot 80%. LeBron had an off game in that particular game 6 that beat Detroit without Ben Wallace, a Hall of Fame defender. He wasn't on that team. So I'm saying to you that the lanes was wide open. LeBron had a great game 5, but I made the point of he didn't just drag the team. They had a high deficiency rate, a defensive rating. They all had guys that were contributing. And they took that team and they to the finals where they were completely swept by the San Antonio Spurs, who were not the juggernaut that people have tried to say he went up against. The Spurs that season had the 3rd best record in the Western Conference at 58 wins. It tells you again, this is a statement I made. The Mavs had the best record that particular season. So they were 3rd in the West, record-wise. There were 5 teams in the West that won over 50 games. 51 to be exact, or more. The East had Cleveland and Detroit, who won 53. So there were 4 teams in the West, or 5 teams in the West, that actually had a better record than the Eastern Conference champion Cleveland Cavaliers, who won 50 games. 5. I made this statement online, and a guy says, "You're a casual. You don't know ball." What? All I did was look up, it's worth a Google. I looked up what the record was that year and told, based off of what the records was, made nothing that was not factual. And do you know somebody liked his comment? Somebody actually liked the guy's comment. And then I responded, I said, this is the problem with our society. We have people who just throw out things without any sort of, who just be talking because they get caught into their feelings. So I make this analogy because Shannon Sharpe can talk about Ja Morant and what he's not doing in the lack of thinking. Even if he doesn't agree with him in other areas, he can be right, proving out a wrong. This guy went on to say, well, you know, you're a casual, you can't play ball. You don't know me. You don't know what I can do. But the internet creates gangsters, Twitter fingers, and creates people who just speak with no sense. None. And so you'll have people upset with Shannon because they'll say it was just a toy gun, not understanding the ramifications of what that means, and you're an employee of the NBA. And when you sign that contract, folks, the NBA can decide if that is conduct detrimental, just like the NFL has these character things that you agree when you sign up. So this won't be a long video, but I just wanted to put that out there as an analogy, because we live in a society where it is just baffling how lost people can be and how they'll just say stuff to you and you're like, what are you talking about? There's just a lack of, I don't know, common sense in today's market. So I'm blowing the whistle on our culture, on the idiots that troll, and on people who can't think. This is Sports Bucks with Steve. We want to thank again all of our sponsors. Check them out online, My Virtual Docs, Fig Wealth Partners. We can help you with your retirement planning, kind of help coach you up and get you the right place to help you succeed in life. Whether you're a business owner, we can show you how to put away money, deferred compensation plans, kind of like what Jim Harbaugh has done at the University of Michigan, where he actually defers millions of dollars into a deferred compensation plan. And when he gets ready to take the money out, when he retires, it's going to come out completely tax advantaged. And you can overfund these types of plans. If you want to learn about that, 1-800-306-5086. That's 1-800-306-5086. If you're in the continental United States, we can help you. This is Sports Bucks with Steve. We're getting ready to get up out of here, but I want to appreciate you guys once again for listening. Please like and subscribe to this page as we sign off.